hello folks, a very warm welcome back to What's for Tea. It's lovely to see you, and if you're new here, obviously a very warm welcome to you also, and welcome to our wee corner of YouTube. Right guys, tonight I made a beautiful minestrone. It's absolutely wonderful. I've been asked for more vegetarian recipes, so I've made this one vegetarian, but typically this would be made with pancetta or bacon, so feel free to add that if you like. Just make sure you cut the bacon fat off or the bacon rind if you're deciding to use bacon. Same with the stock. I'm going to be using, well, I have used a vegetable stock, but you can use whatever stock you fancy, but I'm just keeping it vegetarian. And as for the flavour, this is going to knock your socks off. The flavour is absolutely wonderful. It's so rich and warming. So like I say, it's a nice wee minestrone. Is it a soup? Is it a stew? I'm going to let you decide. I call it a soup, but some folk call it a stew. So yeah, so I've listed everything that I've used in the description box down below. So this is what I'm using if you decide to give it a wee go. I've got 4 garlic cloves which I've crushed. I've got 2 stalks of celery which I've diced, 2 medium carrots diced, a 400 can of cannellini beans which I've drained and rinsed. I've got 2 400-gram cans of chopped tomatoes. Just use the juice and the tomatoes. You don't need to drain, the tomato juice out. Just use that. 600 ml of vegetable stock, a handful of fresh basil, 500 grams of dried pasta. You can use whatever kind of pasta you want. I'm using 1 small courgette or zucchini, which I've diced, 1 medium red onion, also diced, 3 tablespoons of tomato puree, and some salt and pepper to suit yourself. Yep, so that's it. So let's move on and we'll see what's next. So this is the pasta that I decided to use. It's a kind of macaroni, but it's a bit longer and a bit thinner. More of a noodle, because you would normally find noodles in a minestrone. So these are the ones that I've used. And I'm also going to be finishing off with some croutons. These are just bread herb croutons. And some Parmesan cheese at the end. I'm just going to shave a wee bit of this off. And it's quite inexpensive. I mean, this is quite a big block, and I think it was only about £2. So get the proper stuff. So you want to get your slow cooker on and set it to medium. Or if you've got longer, just set it to low. Now, I always do this when I'm making a soup or a stew in the slow cooker. I just pop some boiling water in for about 20 minutes, and it just heats your crock pot up. It's just a bit of a habit. I mean, you don't have to do this. And then I just tip the water out, and you've got a nice warm pot to begin with. So the first thing I done was put my vegetable stock in. Like I said, this is 600 ml of vegetable stock. And to that I added my carrots, and then my celery, and then the courgettes, and then the red onion. I don't think there's much flavour difference between the onions. I think this just looks a bit more vibrant, if I'm being honest. And then the washed cannellini beans. And then my crushed garlic. Just give those things a wee stir round. And then you want to pop in your chopped tomatoes and juice. Like I said earlier, I mean, although this is a vegetarian recipe, it tastes absolutely fabulous. Even if you are, a meat eater, give it a go. Then pop in your tomato puree. And then you want to give that a good season with as much salt and pepper as you like. and then just give it another wee stir around. And the last thing I done was I popped in a wee handful of fresh basil. And I just tore the leaves, you know, tore them apart and just threw them in. I put the stalks in as well. I use it all. I think it's got a brilliant flavour. I love the smell of fresh basil. Then a final wee stir around, just to submerge your basil a wee bit. Now your pasta, you're not actually going to put your pasta in till towards the end. Once you've got about 20 minutes left, then you can put your pasta in, but don't add it at this stage. You're going to be cooking this for about 5 hours, so your pasta won't take long in the slow cooker. So cook this for about 5 to 5.5, 6 hours on medium. Or like I said, if you've got more time, just put it on to low. So this was me 5 hours later, and I've got about half an hour to go at this stage. So I'm going to pop in my pasta. And that's just going to swell right up and give us a lovely, rich, thick soup or stew. Looking good. And you know what? The smell was unbelievable. So this was me, half an hour later, and it's now ready. I'm just remembering how this tasted, and it was brilliant. Everybody commented, you know, how nice this was. So all you've got to do now is serve. So this would be brilliant with some crusty bread, but we just had this as a kind of starter, so we didn't have any bread with it. So that's the minestrone with a couple of oat cakes, and I've added a few bread croutons and some lovely parmesan shavings. And you know, the combination of the cheese and the tomato is again sensational, with a wee bit of black pepper at the end. Oh, wonderful. I can't rave about this enough. This has been probably the tastiest soup, other than, you know, the Cullen skink that I do with the smoked fish and the cream. That's another excellent soup, but this would be a close second. Yeah, definitely. This is going to get made again for sure. And like I say, if you like these kind of recipes, or if you're vegetarian yourself or not, give it a go and let me know if you've decided to try it. So that was it. So thank you once more for coming over and checking out what's going on. I've got Meals of the Week obviously going up tomorrow, probably about 7 o'clock. So hopefully I'll see you back for that. Until I see you next, guys, mind to take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. So bye for now. Bye now.